Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss on part B of chapter 8 ecology. We are going to look at question 5 and up until the last question of this exercise. Okay, so for question A, give two strategies that can reduce competition. So the first strategy is resource partitioning and second is character displacement. So I've already explained to you on the resource partitioning and also character displacement, so you can refer back to your notes or in the previous video. And then for question B, how is carbon released into the atmosphere? So basically for this one you have to understand on the carbon cycle. So carbon, one of the way of releasing carbon into the atmosphere is that the carbon is released as carbon dioxide. Or you could also explain of how carbon is released into the atmosphere is for example through cellular respiration or burning of fossil fuel or burning of wood. And then the other ways of releasing carbon is through decomposition or anaerobic decay. Next is through volcanic activity, and the last one is through burning of forests. Okay, so we just erase this one here. Okay, so for question C, figure 7 shows a growth curve of a deer population. Okay, of a deer population. On the graph, draw a line to show the carrying capacity K of the deer population. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand what is carrying capacity. So carrying capacity, or K, is the maximum number of individuals the environment can support over time. Okay, so it means that as the population approaches its carrying capacity, the growth rate slows because of limiting resources, such as, for example, the deer has to compete in order to get food and also space for the deer to live in. Okay, so at this point the environment, okay, so the environment can no longer support for the species, okay, due to different environmental resistance, such as the limiting food resources that are available in that area. Right. Okay, so in this graph, okay, where to draw the line to show carrying capacity, it is here. Okay, so the population size will increase, okay, and then will increase steeply, and then here is the carrying capacity. Okay, this is the carrying capacity. So if you look at the population growth of this deer population, so initially the growth of the deer population exceed the carrying capacity, which is in this region we call it as overshoot. Okay, overshoot. All right. Okay, so okay, so why does the population of deer reaches overshoot? This is due to initially the area that the population lives in, there's plenty of food. Okay, so when there's plenty of food, there's plenty of bushes or tree for the or leaves, okay, for the deer to feed on. Okay, so the population of deer will grow, will increase. But then, okay, when at certain point there's so much individuals of deer in that population, the environment cannot support the deer population. Okay, so the environment cannot support because there's limiting resource, there's limiting food resource. Okay, semua deer yang ada dalam habitat tu, contohnya dalam hutan tu, dah habis dah makan pokok-pokok dalam habitat tu kan. So bila dah habis makan, so dah tak ada dah pokok, dah tak ada dah daun, dah tak ada dah sumber makanan untuk deer tu makan. So the deer population will drop or decline. Okay, will decline a bit. So bila population of deer tu dah menurun, so this will give time, okay, for the environment to recover. Okay, for the environment to recover and allows and allows, for example, tree to grow back. Okay, tree to grow back, leaves to grow back. Okay, so bila dah ada pokok balik, dah ada sumber makanan balik, then the population of deer will increase back again. Kan, sebab dah ada sumber makanan, so population deer tu akan meningkat semula lah. Kan, so meningkat and then reaches overshoot and then turun balik. Kan, sebab apa? Sebab tadi pokok dah habis dimakan, lepas tu population of deer will drop back again and then increase again. Macam tu lah, so dia akan fluctuate macam tu. Okay. Okay. So for question 2, what happened when the deer population is at its carrying capacity? K here. Okay. So when the population of deer reaches its carrying capacity, so this is the point where the population of deer reaches its maximum size. Okay, reaches maximum population size. Okay, or you could also say it as death rate equals birth rate. Okay, so this is due to what? This is due to lack of resources. Okay, resources. Macam saya cakap tadi lah, bila dah banyak sangat deer dan populasi tu, dah habis sumber makanan yang dah dimakan, kan, lack of resources. So this will increase competition, kan, increases competition between the deer population, okay, the individuals within the deer population. Okay, so increase competition. Okay, so question D, differentiate the uptake of carbon and phosphorus by plants. Okay, so for this question, we are focusing on how plant, okay, take up carbon and phosphorus. So for this one, you have to understand on the carbon cycle and phosphorus cycle that relates with the function of plant in these two cycle. Okay, so for carbon cycle, okay, so the plant will take carbon from the atmosphere. Okay, during photosynthesis lah, kan. So during photosynthesis, for example, the carbon is taken from the atmosphere. Taken from the atmosphere. Okay, so for phosphorus cycle, you have to remember phosphorus is sedimentary cycle, so it will not the plant will not obtain the phosphorus from the atmosphere. They can only be found on the ground, in the ground. Okay, so basically the phosphorus will be absorbed, okay, absorbed from the soil. Okay, from the soil. Okay, so that is the first difference. For the second difference is carbon dioxide gas, okay, will be used during photosynthesis. Okay, used during photosynthesis, or carbon dioxide enters through stomata. Okay, so for the phosphorus cycle, the phosphorus will be taken or absorbed as dissolved phosphate. Okay, will be absorbed as dissolved phosphate, or okay, phosphorus enter through the plant. Through the plant. Okay. Question 6. Question A. Figure 8 shows changes in Daffia species population over a period of 100 days. Name the type of population growth curve. Okay, so there's only two types of growth curve, which is two types, okay, of growth curve, which is the first one is logistic curve. Okay, logistic curve will have S-shaped curve, and the other one is exponential curve, which is exponential curve will have a J-shaped curve. Okay, J-shaped curve. So if you look at this diagram, basically it has an Okay, an S-shaped curve. Okay, basically there's two type of curve. S-shaped. This is logistic curve. Okay, and the other one is exponential curve, which is exponential. So this shows J-shaped. Okay, J-shaped curve. So by looking at figure 8, basically this is a logistic curve. Okay, a logistic growth model. Okay. Okay, number 2, explain one factor that can limit the size of carrying capacity for this species. Okay, so the question only wants one factor, so you can either list the most common limiting factor are limited food. Okay, limited food, or other limiting factor can be lack of space or compete for partner if it involves individual of the same species, or the limiting factor can be from natural disaster, okay, such as flood or tsunami or drought or fire that will destroy the habitat, or it can be due to unfavorable temperature or infection by certain diseases. Okay, so those are examples of limiting factor that will limit the growth of certain population. Okay, so number 3, explain what happened to the population of Daphia species at day 40. So if you look at this diagram, day 40 is here. Okay, so if you look at this graph, okay, so this is the for example the red graph here that I drew. Okay, so it shows you the carrying capacity of the population. So here at this point here you have overshoot. Okay, at day 14 actually you have an overshoot or exceed the carrying capacity. Okay, so that is the first mark that you could include in your answer. Explain what happened to the population at day 40 is exceed carrying capacity or overshoot. Okay, or overshoot. And then number 2, population number is at its highest. Okay, population number is at its highest, which is, you can give the value, which is 100 individual. Okay, 100 individual. And the last point, this exceeds the ideal condition and causes increase in competition. Okay, causes increase of competition because there is not enough resources. So those are the points that you could include in your answer for question number 3. Okay, so question B, figure 9 shows a biogeochemical cycle in a tropical rainforest. Okay, so name process A and B. So process A is basically because in this one it involves carbon cycle. Okay, carbon cycle basically this one it explained on carbon cycle. Okay, so A is actually photosynthesis. The plant takes up carbon from the atmosphere to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, so B is cellular respiration. So as you can see here, the animal will carry out cellular respiration and releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Okay, so this is cellular respiration. Okay, so question 2, give one effects of the environment if this cycle is disrupted. Okay, so if carbon cycle were to disrupt, there will be for example, if there's no photosynthesis. Okay, so this will increase carbon in the atmosphere. Okay, increase carbon in the atmosphere or excess excess carbon in the atmosphere, or temperature increase, okay, temperature increases or warms the biosphere, or it could lead to global warming or acid rain, okay, and this could also increase the concentration of carbon in the ocean and causes the water to be more acidic, okay, and so when the water is more acidic, the ocean can be the water in the ocean can become more acidic and allows the aquatic the aquatic organism to be in an endangered state, okay, so aquatic organism will be threatened, okay, due to the water in the ocean becomes more acidic, okay. Excess carbon in the ocean, okay, ocean, and threaten the aquatic organism living in the ocean. Okay, so question number 7, A, state the competitive exclusion principle in biology. So this one also have been discussed in the previous video. So competitive exclusion, you have to define the definition, which is two species competing for the same limiting resources and they cannot coexist in the same place. So the weaker species will not be able to survive and will die at the end of the competition. The strongest species will survive. Okay, so that's why we call it as competitive exclusion. So B, identify the type of defensive adaptation displayed by prey. For question 1, a harmless larva mimics a venomous snake. So this is Batesian mimicry. Batesian mimicry. Okay, so Batesian mimicry is when a harmless species mimics the harmful one. Okay, a harmless species mimics the harmful one in order to protect itself from being eaten by predator. Okay, question number 2. A frog that exhibit bright warning coloration. So bright warning coloration is aposematic coloration. Okay, aposematic coloration. Okay, so another other forms of defensive adaptation by prey, you have the Mullerian mimicry. Okay, so what is Mullerian mimicry? Is when a harmful species mimics another harmful species. Okay, dua-dua harmful, dua-dua ada toxin, so dua-dua akan resemble each other. So this is to this will protect, okay, both species from being eaten by prey. And then the other mode of defensive adaptation displayed is cryptic coloration. So cryptic coloration adalah camouflage. Okay, camouflage. The organism blends with the environment so that the predator will not be able to see the prey. Okay. Okay, so question C, distinguish between fundamental niche and also realized niche. So again, this question also have been discussed earlier, which is fundamental niche is the niche potentially occupied by the species. Okay, the niche potentially occupied by the species, and for the realized niche is the niche actually occupied by the species. Okay, so fundamental niche ni peranan organism tu secara keseluruhannya tanpa ada sebarang persaingan daripada spesies yang lain, kan. So berapa banyak sebenarnya kawasan yang dia boleh occupy, berapa jenis makanan yang sumber makanan yang dia boleh makan, kan, tanpa sebarang kehadiran competition tu. That is fundamental niche. Realized niche ni dengan ada competition daripada spesies lain, kan. So bila ada competition daripada spesies lain, maybe kawasan yang spesies tu boleh occupy adalah lebih kecil, kan. Sumber makanan yang dia yang boleh makan tu lebih terhad. So that is realized niche. Okay. Okay, so question D, figure 10 shows survivorship for 3 different organisms. Okay, so 3 different organisms. So you have type 1. So example, you have human here. Type 2, you have birds. Okay, and then type 3, you have trees. Okay, so describe the death rate of organism with type 2 and type 3. Okay, survivorship curve. Okay, so for type 2, as you can see here, for birds, okay, it shows constant death rate, okay, over the organism lifespan. Okay, lifespan, or individual die at all stages. Okay, at all age stage. Okay, at all ages. So bila dia baby ada yang mati, as the bird gets older ada juga yang mati, kan. So when the birds gets even older, okay, in age, so ada yang mati. So for type 2, the organism experience death rate over the organism lifespan. For type 3, okay, death rate declines. Okay, death rate declines for those individual who survive early age. Okay, early age. Okay, early age. Okay, so I repeat, for type 3, death rate declines for those individuals who survive early age. For example, given here is tree. Okay, so for example, one tree will produce lots of fruits. Okay, lots of fruit, and each fruit will have many seeds. Okay, many seeds, and then not all the seeds, okay, will grow to become seedlings, and not seedlings will be able to survive until the tree reaches a mature age. So when the tree reaches a mature age, so the tree will survive a lot longer. Okay, a lot longer. Macam contohnya pokok kayu balak lah, kan. So pokok kayu balak dia menghasilkan banyak biji dia, kan. So bukan semua biji tu akan tumbuh, dan biji yang tumbuh pun yang akan bercambah, kan. Bukan semua yang akan jadi pokok yang besar. Tapi bila dah besar, dia akan mempunyai jangka hayat yang lebih lama. Okay. So kalau untuk human, awak kena faham lah, kan. Untuk human is type 1, kan. So type 1 maksudnya kat sini dia punya explanation dia adalah the curve is flat at the start. Okay, the curve is flat at the start. Sebab apa? The early age, kan, early age, baby, infant, so you are taken care of by your parents, and then you reach usia remaja pun masih sihat lagi, but as when you get older, kan, so this is when the human body will be prone to certain diseases, kan. So when you when human reach an older age, kan, so the human will experience a higher death rate. Okay, so here it experience drops. Okay, drops steeply as death rate increase among the older age group. Okay. Okay, so number 2, explain why human in industrialized country is represented by type 1 survivorship. Okay, so basically human in industrialized countries, kan, negara yang membangun, dia akan mengalami ataupun dia akan experience type 1. Sebab apa? Bila awak kecil kan, bila baby, macam saya dah explain tadi, you are taken care of. Okay, so you are taken care of and so therefore the rate of mortality for infant and childhood is reduced. Okay, so 2 markah lah kat situ. So point yang pertama, they provide care for their offspring. So human will provide care for the young. Okay, so when the young are taken care of, the infant are taken care of, so the rate of death will reduce. Okay, or the mortality rate will reduce. Okay, 2 marks. Okay, question number 3. Name and explain the type of survivorship curve for a fish that produce millions of eggs per year. Okay, millions of eggs per year. So if you look at this question, okay, so you can you will understand that for a fish, when it can produce millions of fish, it is the same as this tree, can. Tree. So tree produces many seeds, many fruits, many seeds, and not all the seed will be able to survive and grow to become a fully grown tree. Kan, sama juga dengan fish. So that's why fish will produce millions of egg, and not all the egg will mature and hatch and survive to become fish. Kan, a fully grown fish, right? So so for question 3, it is worth 3 marks. So you have to name the type of survivorship curve. So it is type 3. Okay, type 3. Ikan menghasilkan banyak telur dan bukan semua telur akan survive sebab dia akan dimakan oleh predator. Dan yang mana akan jadi anak-anak ikan tu, bukan semua anak ikan akan membesar jadi ikan yang dah mature. Okay. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so type 3. Okay, so it is type 3, and then the explanation is extensive early mortality. Okay, curve drops sharply at start, or the young experience low survivorship. Okay, the young experience low survivorship. Okay, so two points, 2 marks. Or another point that you could include in your answer is high rate of subsequent survival, or flatten out as death rate decline for individual that survive early period of die-off. So bila ikan tu dah besar, kan, dia dah stable, dia dah boleh protect diri dia daripada dimakan, so maksudnya umur dia lagi panjang lah, kan. So dia akan survive dengan lebih lama, kan. So high rate of survivor, okay, as the fish matures. Okay, so the last question, the increase in size of a population over a specific duration is referred as population growth. Complete the table below showing the differences between 2 types of population growth. So saya dah cakap dah tadi, kan, there's 2 type of population growth. First is logistic. So logistic is S-shaped curve, and the other one is exponential. Okay, J-shaped curve. So here the explanation, the graph is the population growth is exponential, kan. So maksudnya kat sini lawan dia adalah logistik. Okay, logistik. So 1 mark. So explanation for logistik, dia mempunyai S-shaped curve. So maksudnya exponential adalah J-shaped curve. Okay, J-shaped curve. So for exponential, there is no restriction on abilities of organism to grow, but there's no limiting factor. There's no limiting factor. And for logistic, growth rate slows because of limiting resources. So they reach carrying capacity. Okay, so that's the end of our discussion. Okay, for ecology. Okay, so I hope you understand what has been discussed in this video. Thank you.